morning, students. In yesterday's class, we discussed about 4 techniques of separation, that is, how to separate the mixtures of solids with solids. The first one was hand picking, threshing, winnowing, and one more. Yes? So, what is it? Do you remember it? Yes. Okay. So, 4 techniques of separation we have discussed. So, let us move on to the next 2, that is magnetic separation and sublimation. Okay, children. So magnetic separation, the name itself says that magnet means the components of the mixture which has to be separated, in that one component must be magnetic. So this method is used when one of the component is magnetic. So in a mixture, when one component is magnetic, then only we can use this method, that is called as magnetic separation. Okay. So for example, children, there is an arrival of guest in your home. Okay. Suddenly on the carpet you have sprinkled some all pins or some pins, safety pins or something. So within no time, how can you pick it up, children? We can pick it up with the help of a magnet. So what is happening? The all pin, which is made of iron, is attracted by the magnet. Okay. So here in the components of the mixtures, one must be definitely magnetic. So this method is also used to remove the scrap iron. Scrap iron means waste iron, children. The waste iron which is present in the heap of garbage. Okay, heap means just dumped in one particular place. Suppose if there is any iron particles are in that, so that can be separated by a crane. Okay, so the crane will be having a magnet, a very big magnet which is fixed to it. So when you bring the crane near to the mixture, the iron will be attracted. The scrap iron, that is a waste iron, gets attracted by the magnet. So that iron which is removed from the heap of garbage is melted and that can be reused. Okay, children. So this method of separation is called as magnetic separation, where one of the component must be attracted by the magnet. So it must be a magnetic material. Okay. Now moving to the next one, that is sublimation. What is sublimation? The process in which solid directly changes into gaseous state. The process in which a solid directly changes into gaseous state on heating is called as sublimation. So this you can observe every day, even when you go to temples and all, or at home when your mother is performing any puja or something, you can see that the camphor means, you say in Telugu as karpuram. Okay, so camphor, when it is burnt, it directly changes from the solid to gaseous. You can see the black color fumes which are coming from the camphor when you burn it, right? So the solid state is directly changing into the gaseous state on heating. So that method is called as sublimation. So for doing the sublimation, children, the components of mixtures which has to be separated, in that one substance has to sublime, means it has to change directly from solid to gaseous when you heat it. So for that kind of mixtures only we can use this technique called as sublimation. So there are some examples of substances which sublimes on heating, that is naphthalene. Naphthalene balls we use in the cupboards and wardrobes and all, we keep it to protect it from insects, right? The white color balls. So those are called as naphthalene balls. So naphthalene also, if you keep it out for some time, so because of heating, it evaporates. It directly changes from solid to gaseous. Even one more example is ammonium chloride. NH4Cl is ammonium chloride. Then iodine and camphor. So all these are the examples of the substances that sublimes on heating. So you can just mix with the sand and all. So if you keep it with the sand, what happens? The naphthalene, as it sublimes, you can separate naphthalene, the sand will be left out. So these are the substances which sublimes on heating. So this method, children, the magnetic separation, sublimation and all remaining methods, we will do it in the lab once you come back. Okay, children. So the activity is given for you under sublimation, which I will teach you in the interactive class. Okay children. Now coming to the next one, that is mixtures of solids with liquids. So yesterday's class we discussed about mixtures of solids with solids, how to separate. Now mixtures of solids with liquids. So we know that there are some solids which dissolve in liquids and there are some solids which do not dissolve in liquids. So today we will discuss only about the solids which dissolve in liquids. So solids which dissolve in liquids, we have only two techniques children. One is evaporation, the other one is crystallization. So what is evaporation? Evaporation is a method where you can separate the solid substance dissolved in a liquid. Okay. So this especially evaporation technique we use to separate salt from seawater. The salt what we are using in our daily life is obtained from the seawater. So where they send the water, they make a shallow pits near to the seashore and they send the water there. So because of the sun's heat, the water gets evaporated and the salt will be left behind in the shallower bed. So that is how we get the salt from the seawater. But the salt what we are obtaining from the seawater is an impure one. So that has to be purified. So how do you get the pure form? By one more method called as crystallization. So crystallization is a method which is used to separate pure solid in the form of crystals. Pure solid in the form of crystals from its solution. So sugar, I want to separate it. Already I have sugar solution. I want to separate the sugar crystals. So what I will do? I will take the solution in a china dish and I will heat it. So when I heat it, stir it continuously and heat it. So when I heat it, the water gets evaporated and the sugar what is obtained will be in the form of a crystals when it gets dried. Okay, so that is how we use a technique called as crystallization to get the pure solid in the form of crystals. Okay, so that examples are the sugar from solution, that is sugar solution, alum. Alum means we say it as spatica. Okay, and then blue vitriol, that is copper sulfate. All these are the examples of the mixtures where we are using the method called as crystallization to separate it from the impure ones. Okay, sugar from the sugar solution, then alum from its impure one, and blue vitriol from the impure sample, that is pure copper sulfate you are able to extract by crystallization method from the impure copper sulfate solution. So these are the two techniques of separation which we use to separate the solids which dissolve in liquids. Next class we will discuss about how to separate the solids which do not dissolve in liquids. Thank you children. Hope you understood. Read the textbook for your better understanding. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.